What's up, everybody? Sam Smyers here. Today I want you to make the DnB bass to Go Back by John Summit and Sub Focus. Now, this track starts out as a house song and then it kind of goes into more of like a DnB track, and the basses are different for the first drop and the second drop. So I'm going to be showing you the bass in the second drop where it is more of like a DnB style track. So let me play the bass with the track and hopefully I can get this onto YouTube. And hopefully I can put that on YouTube, and if not, it doesn't let me then. I extracted the drums with La. It's okay in extraction, but this is the drums with the bass. Pretty simple bass sound. Like it doesn't sound like any complex things going on. Let me just walk you through the bass. This should be pretty quick video. I just wanted to break it down. Now, I do have these two sounds grouped together, and I have them in this group. I have this sidechained to the kick and the snare. You can see that sidechain pumping with that kick and the snare. What I'll do is I'll just take off this sidechain and I'll show you these two layers. I have one layer that is kind of like the sub. I don't know if this is just one bass sound, but to me it sounded like there was kind of a wider layer and then a more subby layer. And the easiest way for me to figure that out was just to have one that is a sub layer. And you can hear that like clicking at the beginning of the sound, or like every single note, but I wasn't too worried about that because I have like the side chaining going on and you have like a lot going on in the track. And because on top of that, also you have kind of those really clippy, snappy saw wave stabs. So that click on this didn't really bother me. So I just left it. And this is the MIDI. Let me get into the Serum now. Now this has a bit of, almost sounds like it has a bit of FM going on, but all that I did, I have this onto mono. I have the envelope, very like a plucky envelope. Let me go ahead and just play this. On my keyboard, that's what it sounds like. I have a bit of this filter just to kind of warm it and beef it up. And this saw round to square is kind of like almost like a distorted sine wave, because when you distort a sine wave, you clip off the top of the sine wave and you get more of like a square wave. And that was what I was just trying to achieve with this saw rounded to square, because in the effects, let's see, I just have like a soft clip, which is kind of only doing like a little bit of clipping. And that's it for that sub layer. Then the top layer, it's going to be the same notes, the same MIDI notes. But for this top layer, I have the voicing onto mono. I have the envelope one is very snappy again. If I play this on my keyboard, you kind of get that snap. And I have this sub, which is, I'm just kind of using this sub square wave to kind of like add a bit more beefiness to the sound. And then the ARP white, I'm just kind of like adding a bit of like papery distortion to the sound. Using that ARP white, using a low 18 filter, turned it on for all of the oscillators. And then on the effects, I have on a multiband compressor and an EQ, cutting off that low end because I have that sub coming in from the other track. I didn't really want too much low end coming in. And let's just see if I can remake this one from scratch. So I'll put the voicing onto mono, turn on this sub, do a square wave and lower the level. And I'll lower this to -2 octave, and also oscillator A to -2 octave. Oscillator B, I will put this one to -1 octave. Okay, kind of not a great sound so far. Let's go ahead and put some voices of unison, getting some width on there, taking down this detune, and I'll take it down to about 0.15. And same thing for oscillator B, raise up the unison, take the detune to 0.15. And I think I'll leave the levels the same on oscillator A and B. I'll turn on this noise, let's do ARP white. Kind of feels a bit more distorted now with that noise in there. And go ahead and adjust my envelope 1, taking down that sustain. Gonna add some release, take on the decay a bit more, go down to about there. Maybe increase this attack or slow down the attack a bit. Now I'm gonna add on my low 18 filter, and I'll do A, B, noise, and the sub, all of them. And why did I use the low 18? Just because the low 18 is gonna allow a bit more top end to come through than a low 24 filter. And also, I feel like these low ones here, low 6, low 12, versus the MG lows, they have a bit more, kind of like a, I don't know if it's like a steeper slope, but they kind of give a bit more like pluckiness sometimes if I need a bit more. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but they do sound different. So just experiment with them and see which ones you like. I will take this envelope, assign it to my cutoff, take this all the way down and put this to about 85, take on this resonance, maybe give it some drive. Put that resonance around 6. And I might take up this curve on the envelope, because it sounded a bit too plucky to me. But what's going to brighten it up now is when I add on the multiband compressor. And now with that multiband compressor, you hear more of that like clickiness or that in your face feeling now from that bass. But when you put on a multiband compressor, you take away some of the bass of the sound, and that's why I felt like I had to add on another bass lower level. And then I'll just add on a low cut EQ around 114 and a bit of a high shelf. I believe that is it for this top part. And with the sub again, and with that sidechain compression, pretty heavy sidechain compression. Now that's how you make that bass to that DnB part. If you do want to grab this preset, I'll put it in my Patreon. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a like, and also please subscribe to my channel if you are not yet subscribed. And if you'd like to check out any Serum preset packs, head on over to store.samsmyers.com.